Alrighty, welcome teachers. When we last left off, we were going over the curriculum landing page and how that can help you frame up what you'll be doing for the unit. Finally, we're down to the scope and sequence. This is where the actual meat and potatoes are, where when you're lesson planning, you will want to be here because this is where all of these, the actual items that your students will be doing is found. If you're used to my scope and sequences from, let's say, biology or some other science content, you'll know kind of how this works. Only a few slight adjustments here for anatomy. Because anatomy doesn't really have standards, I've replaced the standards area with those key ideas that we saw on the scope and sequence, as well as the vocabulary. So this might be useful. But just know that the key ideas, vocabulary, and the student learning objectives, those all come from the that first page. Actually, I think I have it linked up here. Yeah, so that first page that's in every chapter. I'll show you this. There we are. And we can zoom in on this. So key terms, your key ideas, and your student objectives. So this is all in the book. For you as the teacher, kind of also lists out some more information. But what I've done is I've turned those objectives into student learning objectives. So now it's I can identify, I can describe. So that might be more useful for your lesson planning. I kind of cut through the meat of all of that to give you a much clearer use of the objectives here. I've also numbered them out so you can see objectives 1 through whatever. So when you're doing these lessons here, you know you're in objectives 1 through 4. When you come down here, you're doing objectives 5 through 6. So that's going to help you correlate the objectives with what exactly you're working on. That document will also kind of tell you specifically the activities that you're working on. So both can be useful for you as you go throughout your planning. I've also put in some guiding phenomena suggestions. These are just things that I come up with. It's like, hey, this sort of is a good idea for this particular chapter. I kind of made them up, but maybe you can adjust it based off how you've taught or your students. I also want to highlight. All right. Okay. Yeah, anatomy doesn't have the challenge question like some of the other BioZone resources. So that's the top part. That's all your objectives, vocab, key ideas. And then we actually get down to the suggested pacing guide. Remember, it's suggested, and especially with anatomy, I'm not looking over your shoulder. There won't be district assessments that I plan to create. So you're a bit more flexible. Maybe you want to flip-flop different systems, spend more time in one, less in another. Totally up to you guys how you do that. But I've just wanted to lay out, here's everything that's available, and then leave it up to you guys for how you want to navigate that. For going through this, I want to start over on the right, and then we'll work our way left, because on the right is our actual core resource, BioZone, and this will actually list out all of the different activities that you have available to you. I'm going to have a separate video, that'll probably be the next one in this sequence, that just covers using the BioZone online. To get there, you can just go up here and click there. That should get you to BioZone. You got to have your classes set up, but I'll go ahead and make a video, so if you want to see what that looks like, you can check out that next video. But what I've done is I've listed out the activities, and I can't really link to much of what's in the BioZone. It's all kind of protected. But one of the resources, because they give you different videos, activities, slides, 3D models, but they also do web links. So what I've decided to do is I pulled out all these different web links for you guys. So as you're going through your planning, you can see what are there things outside of my resource that I could use. I didn't really have any planned out, but let's say where I'm doing activity 2, what's inside a cell, I can jump to here. And typically what you're going to find with these is they have different articles, they have different simulations. So this one looks like it's going to be a bit of a simulation or a video. Oh, it's kind of a video plus you can investigate. So very cool. I'm going to close that just because I'm recording. It's going to take up a lot of my... But you can see that just brought something that's out there on the internet and brought it up to you. So these are really good for you to check out. The simulations are good. They have great articles if you want to do some reading in class, and all sorts of different resources just like that. So check those out, but also when you're using Biozone, you'll have access to all these. So that's kind of like, okay, this is my starting point. These are the activities. Maybe I don't do all of them, and certainly you want to kind of mix it up. Maybe one day I can squeeze in activity 3 and 4, mixing in some other things. Maybe I skip past 5. You guys can decide how all of this works. But hopefully that gives you tons of resources for the core of your class. Moving over to the left, now we have 3 columns of additional resources. First off, over here on the left, these are just various YouTube videos that I've linked to. So if you click here, you can watch this video. And these tie into the topics that students would be learning about that week. So these are not only good if you're a bit rusty on the topic, you could watch some videos, or these could be resources that you give students as an additional resource. If they're doing homework, they can go watch this video for help. You could integrate these into Nearpod videos or Edpuzzle so you can insert questions. Those would be good ideas as well. If they're a short video, I try to find short videos, so like this one right here. I can see that this one is 3 minutes. Well, that one I could just plug into a lesson. So we're teaching, we're doing something. Hey, let's learn about the diffusion osmosis. 4-minute video. All right, question on that, move on to the next topic. So if it's short, you can do that. Those longer ones, though, which are still good, but this is 14 minutes long, either play a snippet or put it into Nearpod so you can pause and have questions. And you can either do that as a whole class or assign it to students to do it on their own. As we move over to the right, now we have different virtual simulations. Any gizmos that we had that correlate to the topics going on, I found those, so gizmos will be listed here. But then I also found these 4 different websites that have resources available to you, and I've highlighted when those have something good. Zygo, I'm hoping to get a subscription to that, and that's a body model. Here, I'll show you. The free version is pretty good, but with the paid version, students will be able to interact more fully with the body, get details, use tools, so you can kind of see what that's like. So I'm working on that. Cross your fingers. Hopefully I get that for you guys. And a model should pop up. And you can see I can kind of go through the different systems and layers throughout that body model. So that's going to be highlighted in a lot of your... this first one's just on cells, so you don't get a much there. But as you can see, we've got our... Here's zygote for your skeletal system. Inner body is another good one. Inner body, I'll take you to this link, but it's got different interactives for each separate system model, so I've linked those as well. You can just come here and pick out your different systems, or in the actual pacing I've highlighted inner body. This one will take you directly to the integumentary system. And then there was this Anatomy Arcade. There was a few, not all their stuff works still, but there was a few really good simulations and activities for students to review on this page. I've linked to those directly in there. You can check that out. And then Bio Interactive had a few things as well. So here are 4 resources you can use. They're linked here, but they'll also be linked further down. And then lastly, at your disposal, you guys have access to study.com and Nearpod. If you open up, so I've listed some of each. I haven't listed every single resource available, just sort of the top, hey, here's something that you could use. So if it's from study.com, it'll say study. Let me undo that. And if it has either lesson or video or activity, that's coming from Nearpod. So we'll start off with study.com. If you click on this link here, it's actually going to take you to the course that I am actually pulling all these from. Now, do make sure, like right now, it doesn't think I'm logged in, so I'm just going to be overviewing the course. Actually, I can quickly log in just by doing this. Just like for our other high school courses, you'd want to set this up through your Canvas, so that way students have access to it, and you can assign certain work on study.com. We're looking into making this a simpler process for next year. We'll see what's going on there. Once I authorize this, now I'm officially logged in, and I'll just hit refresh. And this looks better. So all of the resources for the study.com I've pulled from this course that's an anatomy course. Now, I couldn't list everything that's here, right? So if I open up the skeletal system, I didn't list out all 12 of these. But maybe you're spending time on certain leg bones. Boom, here's a whole lesson for them to do that for. So there's plenty more here than what I've listed out. So feel free to use these as much as you'd like. Similarly, I haven't listed out everything in Nearpod. You can use this link to get to the general Nearpod folder, but if you go over to this icon here and click on it, this will take you a folder that's just for this chapter. And I might have to log in here, we'll see. Or it'll take me right to where I want it to go. If it doesn't take you where to go, I have a separate Nearpod video. I'll let you watch that one. But again, I've organized and set up a whole bunch of different, here's a bunch of different resources that fall under this chapter. So feel free to use as many of these as you want, or as little as you want. You can look through them. These are like pre-made slides. You've got videos, all sorts of different things at your disposal. But check out my Nearpod video. That'll help you figure out how to use that to the fullest. You can actually create your own and edit all of those. So go check out that. So now you can kind of see I have all these different resources at my disposal, starting with Biozone, but then my supplementary resources. Now I can really plan, because I've got an 80-minute class period. I don't just want to have students open the book, work on the book, right? How do I make this interactive, introduce class discussion, videos to break things up, and now you have a really engaging and interesting lesson. And that pretty much wraps up what each chapter will look like. And then most of the time, that last chapter, I'll highlight, hey, don't forget about the dissection that you want to do. If you want to go on to the next curriculum map, just click on this arrow, and boom, you can go on to quarter 2. You can also go back to the scope and sequence. But this navigation tool helps me out when I'm updating things. Hopefully you'll find that useful. You want to get up back to the top, click on the Beam Me Up Scotty, and bloop, you're right back to the top of the document. So hopefully those navigation things help you out. But I hope you guys are seeing how I've structured this, that all the tools are at your disposal. You don't have to spend a lot of time trying to find other things. Now I can focus on just creating awesome lessons. All right, that's it for this video. I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.